morning. We're out here at Stoney Point at the AGRIS location in Stoney in beautiful downtown Essex, I guess, Essex County. Day 7 of our crop tour. Just thought I'd touch a little bit on the markets here first thing this morning. Last week we've had a pretty nice run on the markets. Lots of opportunity to get $12 soybeans. They've kind of backed off here. Crop ratings were about as expected yesterday, down 2 or 3%, good to excellent on both corn and soybeans in the U.S. Private estimators are saying carryouts are a little bit bigger than what the trade's been expecting, so that's taking a bit of the lid off of this market here right at the moment. I think when you look at your marketing though, yesterday may have been a key reversal. It's putting resistance on corn and soybeans, so we have had that little bit of a turn down, but don't let that stop you from adding more sales. If we look at our past year, Jan, Feb, March was a really good time to make some sales, and we haven't had any opportunity since then. So now we get this late season rally. Let's make sure we're taking advantage of that, and lots of people have. But maybe we need to take a little bit more as this market has kind of turned backwards here a little bit the last couple of days. So see what that does here for the next few days. We're down here in Essex with Rachel and Laura. We've been doing a little bit of crop touring down here. So Rachel, overall, I know you're taking a little stab in the dark here. What do you kind of see corn yields at for the county?
Yeah, so if you took in consideration what's happened throughout the county, meaning like our drought on the north or our south end, and then kind of our wetness here in the north end, I'd say that we were probably averaging around 180, like 175, 180 for the whole county. So we're still looking at pretty good yields, with everything that's happened this year. So with beans, I'd say probably the 45 to 50 range. Again, with kind of the drought conditions down in our south end and the over excessive amount of water that we got on the north end. So overall, I think we're going to have a good year.
And Laura, what have you seen? You've been out in the local area. What are you seeing here a little bit more locally?
Yes, as Rachel mentioned, we definitely had some rain events spring and early summer. So there's some disease, there's some root rot, but overall the beans are looking really good. I would say we're getting probably average to good yields for the most part. Corn as well looks pretty good. At this point, it's a little hard to say if we're going to be seeing VOM, but it's looking pretty good down here so far.
Great, thanks, Laura. I'm seeing some soybeans starting to turn in some areas. Is that about normal, or what else are we seeing out there?
Some of the fields with a manganese deficiency are starting to turn, maybe a bit early. Not super early, but it's definitely seen a bit of a factor there.
Yeah. So any stresses we're seeing on the beans are causing that earlier senescence of leaves and whatnot. Laura, talk a little bit about bean pod counts or beans per pod. What's your feeling on some of those things that you've seen?
I think so. On some of the healthy bean fields, I think our record number this year was 80 or something pods per plant. So there's some really good looking crops out there. I would say an average of definitely 2.5 to 3 beans per pod.
From other diseases, anything else, Rachel, that you're seeing? Anything new propping up?
Yeah, so Laura was mentioning the root rots, but we're also seeing a little bit of sun and death syndrome. There's been some kind of bean leaf or some Japanese beetle feeding and some grasshopper feeding, but nothing too crazy right now, just kind of the normal. So other than we had some root rots, our sun and death, and some of them mistaking for some early dropping of the leaves for manganese deficiency. So other than that, things are looking pretty good. We are just north of the Stoney Point branch location, so we're just a little wee bit south of Lake St. Clair is where we are here in Essex County. We're in a really nice field of soybeans. Rachel, what can you tell us about this field of beans we're standing in? Yeah, so these beans are looking really good. So I believe this is 2497s, and as you can see, they're looking really nice, but this field would have caught most of that rain that I was talking about earlier. So I said that there was probably 11 days here in Stoney Point where we saw 10 inches of rain, and this field would have caught most of the blunt of it, but it's still pulling off really strong. We counted 579 pods per plant in this 21-inch section, so we're taking 1/10,000th of an acre to count that, and then I think we're averaging about 2.6 beans per pod here. So overall, these beans are looking pretty good.
Laura, you've been in this field a little bit. What are you seeing? Is there any disease pressure as we kind of look across this this field, or anything else you might note in this particular field?
Just looking across it, it looks really good still. There is some insect damage, just a bit. Nothing too concerning, but disease-wise, this field's looking pretty good.
And as Rachel said, you know, this particular field saw close to that 10 inches of water in 10 days, and that wasn't an inch per day either. There was a couple of pretty big rain events. So interesting to see how good this one looks. We're going to take you down the road and show you what some variability might look like. We are just down the road from where we were just a few minutes ago, and Rachel, maybe just talk a little bit about the difficulty in doing really good yield assessments through some of the variability we've got right where we're standing.
Yeah, so we're sitting in this field here, and you can kind of see that these beans are super hurting. So the previous field we were in, we were seeing pod counts up to like 572 and 550, but kind of here where I'm standing, we're looking at like 100, and maybe just kind of north of me here, like 200-ish. So it's hard in these situations because this field has a big weather impact. So we kind of mentioned before in Stoney Point, there was an 11-day segment where we had about 10 inches of rain, and it came down in probably 4 to 5 inch segments. So this field was one of them that got hit really hard, so thus making it kind of hard to count here. But this isn't really a good a good representation of Essex County. This is just kind of the severity we can see. So everything else is looking pretty average and looking really good.
So Laura, you've got a soybean plant in your hand there. Describe to us what you're seeing in that particular plant.
So this bean plant is definitely showing some signs of stress. It's got about 20 pods on it. They're not filling as well as we would like to see. This field was heavily impacted by the rain that we did get. There was sitting water for quite a while. And the damage is very evident.
Laura, just quickly looking at that plant, there doesn't seem to be much nodulation on there. What are you seeing from that aspect?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stress that's been going on. The nodes are not nice and pink like we would like to see. There's not too many on the plant. It looks like maybe some compaction. Definitely that water damage is playing a role in this as well.
So this is our day number 7 here, counting down to the last few days of our crop tour. And hey, if you want to get your field counted, by all means, give our staff a call, log on to our website and register your field. We'd be more than happy to come out and have a good look at it and discuss your marketing as well with you. Have a great day.